up here. Okay, again, yes, so we are the ITAS program at Vancouver Island University. So a little bit about our program, and one thing I want to mention right off the bat is that there is no previous experience required to enter our diploma programs. So even if you've never really worked much opening up a computer or done much coding in the past, that is absolutely fine. Our curriculum is geared towards introducing you to all of these concepts, and then we build you up over the 2 years. So you don't need to have any previous experience. We have 2 diplomas that we offer, Systems Administration and Networking Diploma, as well as the Web and Mobile Development Diploma. And we'll be going over both of these diplomas as we go. Okay, so we'll get into some details. But I kind of want to start talking a little bit about our environment and how we approach our curriculum and our teaching instruction to the students. We're very much about experiential learning. It's an applied technology, so that means we want to have a lot of hands-on. Of course, we need to get into theory about information technology and everything involved and how it works, but we really want our students to be doing a lot of projects and working with lab equipment and building applications and things that are tangible, a lot of hands-on experience, so that at the end of the diploma, our students are really employable and have the skill set ready to start off their career. We provide a secure lab environment. A student in our program basically goes through the 2 years with the same group of students, so you get some great friendships out of it and great relationships. You're going to be working together. You have a secure classroom. You're going to get assigned your own desk, so you can bring in your laptop, your equipment. It'll be in a secure zone. And essentially, you can come into our lab environment almost 24/7. I mean, essentially Monday to Sunday, even right up until midnight each night. So if you want to work on projects or do homework or do group work, not a problem. You have access to that secure space. We also have a really excellent instructor to student ratio. We believe in small class sizes, okay, like typically 20 students or so. So they're not a large class. That means you get a lot more direct contact with the instructor, which we really enjoy. And we also keep our curriculum up to date. It's important that we teach relevant skill sets, okay? So we partner with a lot of industry leaders, a lot of names such as Cisco, Microsoft, VMware, Apple, a lot of names that you might be familiar with. They provide us a lot of curriculum, hardware, coding accounts, all sorts of things that we can work with to keep our curriculum going. And our faculty and our instructors are still actively working in industry and in relevant positions and understand what's happening out in the real world. So we're really proud of that. So I'm going to start off talking a little bit about the Systems Administration and Networking Diploma, which is one of the 2 diplomas that we have. Again, just grade 12 graduation to enter with English 12. And if you're an adult learner, that's absolutely fine. There are all sorts of mechanisms we can facilitate to help you enter the program. So we're happy to look at your application and make that work as well. So what do we do with this diploma? We prepare our students for work in network and computer installation and support. So this can be anything from laptops that an end user is using and they're having some hardware issues or they can't connect to the internet. Our students will know how to deal with those issues. But really what we focus on quite a bit is server implementation. That means we're actually going to teach our students how to work with the various equipment and hardware and servers that make all of our email work, that serve the websites that we visit on the internet. All the databases that store information. If we log into the Royal Bank or WestJet or whatever we're using, you log into your profile, all of that information is stored somewhere on a database. So how do we set those mechanisms up? How do we store that data that companies need to serve their clients and end users? We also get into virtualization and cloud computing. You may have heard of cloud computing. It's a very big buzzword in the IT industry these days. So how does that work? Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure. So we'll get into what those systems are. Another massive field, everybody, is cybersecurity. Okay, how do we help our companies that we're working for or if we're contracting with to secure their data so that their data isn't ransomed to them? You might have heard of ransomware. This is a major issue these days for modern IT companies. We do network penetration testing. So one of the ideas here is that we pretend to be an attacker. We will literally try and probe networks for various companies and make sure that they're secure as best they can be. Do we find any vulnerabilities? How do we prevent them? How do we secure the network? Let's actually pretend to attack the network. Really, really interesting area that's growing in demand very, very largely. And finally, network administration. We're all using wireless devices. We're all using our routers at home to connect to the internet or connect to our network printer, all these different things. How does that work? How do we implement it, maintain it, secure it? All these good things to make all of our connectivity so that we can actually communicate with all the devices we need to and the internet. This is a data center that I helped to design and build with a company called BraveNet way back in my career. Michelle, I think, worked there briefly as well. This is actually in Vancouver at the Harbor Center. This is the kind of equipment that our students ultimately are going to be working with. So this is not your typical laptop home computer. You can see these are very large servers that store a ton of data. They have web servers. They send email for our clients. You know, there's power considerations, cooling considerations. How do all these servers work and maintaining them and so on. So this is the type of equipment that our students are going to be ultimately working with to a large degree. And we're going to train you on how to get to that point where you're dealing with a data center situation and server type hardware like you see in this picture here. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the slides here. I just want to talk a little bit about how we use our training mechanisms and the type of things we do. This is on the left-hand side here is what we call a router, and we all have one at home. Essentially, that's what you're using with your wireless provided by Shaw or TELUS or whoever your internet provider is. And the piece of gear on the right is what we call a switch, which facilitates communication between devices. So what I've got here, and Dave, can you confirm you could still see this packet tracer screen okay? It's all okay? Thumbs up?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, I was right.
Okay, I'm just going to open up. This is what we call a network simulator. It's a training program. So what we do is we'll have our students work on simulators quite often to, you know, experiment and wire. We'll have pre-made labs where they have to make this network function properly. They might have to troubleshoot some issues. We have some built-in things that maybe on purposely are bad. The students need to figure out how to solve those issues. We're basically trying to replicate a real-world scenario and design our networks in a safe simulator before we actually go and implement everything in production equipment. So it's a pretty cool program. This is through a partnership with Cisco Academy. And you can see here, I can drag on more laptops, I can drag on PCs, I can do all sorts of things. Even from the laptop here, I can just go onto the desktop here and I can basically, we can see how we connect with wireless technologies. We can set all of that up. You can see there's a little bit of a lines there that integrate wireless. We can actually go onto our router, basically go in and configure it. It's a really, really cool simulator. So what I've got here is just a small office or a typical home network. Okay, so we can start off with more simple networks like that. We can even get into working with cell towers and smartphones. So if you're out about and you're making calls or you're using data to download something or surf the internet, we're going through cell towers. So we do get into some aspects of how all that works. And finally, you can get into more complex networks, i.e. a campus network where we have all sorts of servers and routers and switches connected to the internet cloud that we're simulating. So the simulation software basically is our way to instruct students, to have them work with the software and learn how to do wired and wireless networking And again, take that hands-on aspect that we're talking about, and I'll just show you here. I've got a router here I've just dragged on. And if you look at the screen here, you can see that it's very, very or exactly similar to our equipment that we actually use. So again, the simulators are great training tools, but ultimately we want our students to use the equipment and be able to do production-based networks. Okay, real quick here. Are there any questions? We're about halfway through the presentation, and I'm going to get into the web and mobile diploma in just a second here, but are there any questions at all at this point? Feel free to put in the chat channel, or if you like, you can just you can unmute your mic and go from there. Okay, so far so good. All right, no problem. We'll continue on here. Okay, our second diploma that we offer is the Web and Mobile Development Diploma. Again, grade 12 graduation. We do require Foundations of Mathematics 11 to get in. Again, if you're an adult learner, we have all sorts of mechanisms to help with that, so not an issue. So what we teach here is what we call full stack web development. You may have heard these terms, maybe not, that's okay. Back-end technologies such as PHP, Python, Node.js. These are all coding languages that are commonly used with internet websites. Essentially, you know, when we interact with Royal Bank, or if you surf to Google and do a search, or if you log into WestJet or whatever website you're going to, they're going to be using a coding language to render that page and make everything look the way it is. And when you click on something to submit something or you buy something, this is all coded into that website, basically by web and mobile developers. And then we get into front-end technologies such as HTML, JavaScript, all these things that make our browsers work properly and show the websites properly. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, we need to store user data, you know, all your profile information. If you work with various websites or have a Royal Bank login, we have to store all that information in a database of some kind, make sure it's secure, and make sure that the data is available for whenever you're working with that website. So it's all about coding websites from anywhere from small businesses to large companies. And then the other side of it is the mobile development side. Okay, so building applications and things for Android-based phones, okay, iOS for Apple-based phones. I mean, typical example is you go onto WestJet, you pay for a flight, you choose your times, you enter payment information. Great, the coders have made the website function for WestJet to do all that properly. Then you go into the airport, and basically you're looking at what gate you need to go to and how do you check in your luggage and all these things, you know, using the WestJet application. That's what our web and mobile developers and graduate students are working on. They are the ones responsible for making those sites and those applications work properly, work on your phones properly, and work together with the website and so on, using all sorts of different languages. So again, we really want to have hands-on experiential learning. We will learn theory, but we're going to also focus on building a portfolio. We want our web and mobile developer students to come out with a tangible, built applications, websites that actually have functionality and look really professional, so that when you're applying for work after you've completed your diploma, you basically have a portfolio to show a potential employer that, hey, look, I can actually do what you need to hire for. Okay, we don't want you just coming out with some theory. We want you to be able to actually build things and implement things and make really awesome websites, really cool applications, and actually practice building those things on Android phones, Apple-based phones, and websites that you'll be proud to show an employer and say, hey, look, I completed my diploma and here's what I can do. We're going to get into everything. We're going to participate in local events like Battlesnake, which is a really cool coding competition that's actually in Nanaimo and Victoria and up and down the island, where you can actually build a Battlesnake and compete with other developers in their Battlesnake. It's a lot of fun. And our ITAS students have generally done very well, in fact, even winning in some years. We're going to get into good security practices with coding. It's so essential these days, you know, to make sure that the code that's being put up is not going to be vulnerable to some sort of attack. We need to protect data at all costs. User interface design. I mean, we all don't like it when we go to a website and it's hard to navigate and we're not sure where we are, or we hit next and it doesn't do what we expect it to, or we just don't like the look and feel of the website. That's all user interface or user experience, UI, UX. We want to build professional, really easy to use, intuitive based websites and applications. Okay, so this is all about the fundamentals of good coding practices to build really cool apps and websites. Types of careers. Yeah, for web and mobile developers, lots going on right now. So designing mobile applications for Android. I mean, we've used things like Spotify, Shazam, Instagram. This is a team of developers that have, you know, experience or come out of schools like our program. Basically are building these really great applications that we all use all the time. Business-based websites, okay? I mean, this is the other big thing. A lot of people might do personal websites on their own. Our students certainly can do that. But we also, a lot of them will spend a lot of time working with professional organizations, bigger companies that need a lot more coding and functionality and things to make their business absolutely shine on the internet. And then there's all sorts of application coding for proprietary software. A lot of our developers graduate, they get hired by companies and they're building software for all sorts of things, from underwater technologies, you know, even for, who knows, for aircraft, all sorts of cool things. So the sky's the limit in the realms of coding that you can do. So just as an example, this is an application one of our students built, basically sort of simulating another program that's commonly used, and I'll show you that in a second. But again, we want to build a portfolio for our students, or have them, build a portfolio for themselves. We're going to teach them how to build that up and all the coding to do that. In this case here, this student actually made a GPS tracking app to basically sort of indicate locations they've been to, how long they were there, what time they were there. Again, it's sort of emulating like some common software that's out there. Basically storing all the data in a centralized cloud database and servers in different parts of the world so that the data can be accessed from anywhere. They can take this application or their phone, go across Canada, go into the United States and kind of track where they were and all sorts of information about, you know, based on GPS data. Really, really cool. It's very similar to something like Trailforks, which is a really great app if you like hiking or mountain biking. And again, the whole idea here is our students are building something that's familiar. They learn how to build this up from the ground up, and then they have something they can show to a prospective employer and the way they go. So again, sort of emulating something like Trailforks, which is a great thing for mountain biking, hiking, and a very, very popular application you can download onto your phone and so on. So for example, Trailforks might be looking for a full stack developer and an Android or iOS software engineer. And that's exactly what our students are training for. So they can come and work for a company like this and build great applications. Another company, one of our instructors who is working for us, works for a company called EchoSec. And basically what they do is they have a mechanism of looking at websites and making sure they're not fraudulent. Unfortunately, this is a concern these days. People are sort of coerced or, you know, tricked into entering usernames, passwords, banking information from sites that pretend to be a legitimate website. This is quite common. And a company like EchoSec will come along and try and warn users like, hey, this is a fraudulent website. So your browser will basically come up and say, hey, wait a minute, do not enter information here. This does not look legitimate. These are the kind of things where we're always trying to prevent. And they're working, this is a company, I believe, Dave, just down the Cowichan Valley or, you know, Mid-Island for sure, right? So.
Yeah, sorry, EchoSec's out of Victoria.
Victoria, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, so a lot of cool technology going on in Victoria. They're doing really well because a lot of companies are interested in protecting their websites and making sure that the internet as a whole, people are not entering information where they shouldn't. So this is great fraud detection and things. And again, they're looking for front-end web developers, full stack software engineers. These are all job categories that our web development and mobile students would qualify for. So one thing that does come up, we do have the 2 diplomas. If you're unsure about which diploma to enter, one of the first things we do is that, of course, we're here to, if you want to send me questions, I'll have some contact information. I can help you with the choice. We go through an interview process before you come into the program, which is very informal. It just gives us a chance to make sure your interests align with the appropriate diploma. But you can also start, if you say started in the systems administration diploma and you wanted to switch to web development or vice versa, we have a common first semester between both programs. So in other words, you could get through the first semester and say, boy, that web development stuff looks really cool. Everybody is going to get the same courses to start. There's going to be a little bit of web development. There's going to be some systems administration. You're going to get a feel for both sort of career paths. And then there is some possibilities to switch diplomas if you're partway in, and that's usually not an issue at all, and we'll try and facilitate. In fact, we had a few students switch this last December, and everyone's doing great. So I just wanted to be aware of that, because sometimes maybe you're not sure, it's a little bit new. We'll try and help you make sure you pick the right diploma, and then we can potentially have you switch as you're already in the program. Graduate opportunities, excellent. Technology is not going away. Particularly in the last 2 years, we realized how much companies have gone remote and all the networking and applications and everything to make that work. Over 80%, everybody, of our ITAS graduates are getting work in the IT field, and usually within months after graduation. This is based on this 5-year surveys we do. We're always very much on top of that, seeing how our students do after, because there's no bigger joy for us as ITAS faculty to see our students start their career, or to see them 4 or 5 years down the road and now they're like managers and they've moved up, or they're high-level developers, or specialized systems administrators and doing great. We just love seeing that. So the job prospects are really good. Where are people working? Mid-Island, Victoria, Vancouver, Kelowna, but increasingly working remotely from home. We've had students graduate, they're working for companies in the US, they're working for companies in Europe, or wherever it may be. So the opportunity to work remotely in this industry is really great. And Work BC saying the next 10 years, growth very strong for IT skill sets, system administrators, or web mobile developers, both very, very good, and most in the high demand category. So, I mean, honestly, less than 2 years, essentially, you get a diploma with us, your future looks really bright. And while I talk about all these statistics and everything, I think one thing I always really want to highlight in these sessions is how fun this industry is. It's demanding, you have to critically think, you're always going to be learning. But these are great things, and the opportunities to switch into different types of careers in the IT field. It's really exciting. It's hard to get bored in this industry, I'll say that, okay? There is a lot going on, and a lot of our students have started their own companies, or they've gone on to become renowned world experts in cybersecurity. Or they're leading campus networks and getting into these great roles and doing these great things and building cool apps, whatever it is. It's really exciting. So great job prospects, but I have to say it's a really exciting field to enter, and you'll impress your family and friends, believe me, with your knowledge and skill set, and have a great career. A couple things I should mention: post-ITAS degree options. Yes, we are only 2-year diplomas, and again, most of our students will enter a career and away they go and learn on the job and keep building and learning and become experts in their fields. But I want to note that there are degree options available. BCIT will accept a lot of our courses for credit. And NATE, which is located in Edmonton in Alberta, you can literally directly transfer into 3rd year of their bachelor's degree program from either of our diplomas, systems administration or web and mobile, they will absolutely ladder you right into the third year. We've had a number of students doing this. In fact, we have some in our current second year group that are applying to the third year there and to get their degree. It's really, really cool. Nate's an excellent school. And you start with us and you can ladder right in there. Or like I say, most of our students will enter a career right after they're done with us, which is great. Okay, thank you very much. So I'll just leave this splash screen up here. If you want to learn more, you can always visit our website at viu.ca/ITAS. You can email me directly, info@itas.ca, or graham.white@itas.ca will work very well. The floor is yours. I'm happy to answer questions. So if anybody has any questions, let us know, and we're more than happy to answer those for you.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Regarding the interview that you said that the students would have to go through, would it be before the student reaches Canada, or would it be after their day?
Sorry, can you repeat the question once more? I just had a little trouble hearing you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, if you don't mind repeating the question, please.
Yeah, no problem. I was asking about the interview that the students have to give. So would it be before they reach Canada, or would it be after their day?
Oh, you can apply before coming over to Canada if that's what you're asking. That's not an issue at all. In fact, we take international students in both programs, and it's very popular actually. So I can certainly help facilitate that process and get you in touch with the right people. So that's not, in fact, I'll put it into the message board here. It's study@viu.ca. Is the main email there that it will get you in contact with international advisors. But certainly, yeah, I've actually been interviewing international students this week, and they're still in their current country, so they always come in. Yeah.
All right. And this interview is at the time of the application. Is this part of the application process?
The interview process?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what will happen is you'll go through the application process. An international rep can help you with that. I'm certainly happy to help with that as well. And then what will happen is once everything is submitted, they'll ask for certain, just your high school or equivalent sort of education, just to make sure everything is okay there. And then the interview we'll just do over Zoom or something like that. We'll set up a schedule, very informal, 10 to 15 minutes. And honestly, it's almost as much of an opportunity for me to find out more something about you, but also for you to ask questions about ITAS and anything you need to know. So that's sort of a little bit later in the application process, but very, very informal, and just a chance to make sure everybody's understands and has everything set up for them.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions at all?
Yes. Graham?
Yeah.
Hi, I was just wondering, do both programs offer co-op?
So our Web and Mobile Development Diploma program offers a co-op at the moment. Our Systems Administration program offers a practicum. So students get a little bit less work experience. Usually a practicum is over 3 weeks or so. And basically, often it's unpaid. With the Web and Mobile Development Diploma, we've got a co-op aspect working now. There's actually a co-op preparation course, and our students will learn how to build resumes. We host industry roundtables, so students get a chance to meet employers. And we also do that, I should say, in Systems Administration as well. We bring in industry for guest presentations. Students get a chance to talk to them, introduce themselves. Co-op is really exciting. It's a new thing that we've been doing now for just in the last year here. Students get a 4-month paid work experience program and basically get a chance to get some experience, have a summer job essentially between first and second year. And, basically great. Might be a career start after they graduate. in the systems administration, a number of our students also do get co-ops as well. I should say that. So yes, there is a work experience for both. Co-op is officially in web and mobile, but a number of our systems administration students will get a co-op opportunity as well.
Just to follow up on that, so the co-op opportunities, are they with local companies, national companies, or international companies as well?
Yes. So mostly with local companies, to be honest. Yeah, you know, we're still working on building this up with tech companies out of Victoria, but actually we've been pleasantly surprised how many sort of mid-island Nanaimo-based companies are looking for co-op students. But honestly, the opportunities, and again, in the co-op course, this is run by the Center for Experiential Learning at VIU. And essentially they, you know, have a good network of people, you know, that they work with across Canada, BC, and potentially even internationally.
Yeah, Graham, I'd just add into that, there's like the SAP, they were looking for co-op, potential co-op students this year. So they're quite a large international. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And Statistics Canada, actually, we just had a conversation with them a few weeks ago, and you know, obviously based out in of Ottawa. So they are also posting for co-op students.